Okay, it's something I want to share that I feel is kind of important. And I want you to understand that God brought me to Erin. And when I started to read about her dreams and her encounters with God, because they were encounters, not just a dream, even though she puts dream, she talked about how she's awake. I felt the Spirit of God all over him. Now, what I want to share with you is really important. Wow, some people are up. I can't sleep. I've been up all night. And I prayed. This is why I want you to hear me. I actually prayed. I have been trying to find this dream for a long time, and I just gave up. And I said, Lord, if you want me to share this, you've got to help me find it. It didn't take me long, and I found it. So I know this is what God wants you to hear. It's really important. I want you to pay attention. When I read this dream, I wanted to put two things together first, so you understand why I'm reading you this dream she had. There's a thing going around right now, and I can't remember the guy's name, who's talking about what the Lord showed him. And it is that there's going to be an earthquake in California before the end of summer, which would be around the end of September. If this is true, and it's this year, we've only got weeks. Everything he was saying was lining up with some things that were being spoken by Kim Chadwell when she was talking about some people that need to get repenting, and they had 10 days. She didn't say anything about what would happen, but the things she did say seemed to line up with what this guy is saying. So I'm wondering if that's where she got it. I don't know. Because this video that went around was September 10th. I couldn't listen to all of it, but I got the gist of what he said until he got to the point of there's 100 million 100 million Bibles. And how is it that we as a country are so slack with the Lord, so disrespectful, so disregarding his word? Okay, so if this is the case, and I've been talking to you about the transformation, if this is the case, and this earthquake does happen in the next few weeks, we are really close for the transformation. So let me read this to you. I'm only going to read the dream itself of what happened because it's too much reading for my eyes and I'm in the dark besides. Okay, so let's get started. I was young. This is the beginning of the dream. I was young, strong, and vibrant again. I was not sure if I was in my glorified state, the transformation. That is visiting from heaven post-rapture, or in my transformed state that is still living on earth pre-rapture. So I want you to hear that. Is this post-rapture, like we got raptured, and then because we're already transformed, of course, God brings us down and we're being used? Or is this, or actually doesn't bring us down, we're still there? Or is it, while we're still on earth, we're transformed and used pre-rapture? While I somehow had a feeling that I was still in my transformed state and pre-rapture, I was really not 100% sure. However, if I were, all I can say is that things are going to become very horrific before we are finally taken up. I was in a city that had just been struck by an earthquake of epic proportions. Several large buildings stood in front of me, and I could see hundreds and hundreds of exposed offices, condos, and apartments. I could see their belongings. It was surreal. It was almost as if I was looking at a massive set of badly damaged dollhouses. So this earthquake she's speaking of is quite severe. I'm going to bring it up a bit to help me to see. I quickly snapped back into reality as dollhouses do not have people in them screaming out in terror. A woman soon came up to me from behind to ask me to assist her. Rich woman. There are several people trapped in my apartment building. It has collapsed. Can you help me? I nodded yes. Okay, I will follow you. While the woman walked as quickly as she could. All the rubble and debris from the earthquake slowed her down considerably. I could see dust in the air from the collapsing buildings everywhere. The dust was mixed with smoke, and some of the buildings had started to burn. The woman stopped and pointed to her apartment. Now take note of this. She could see the dust in the air from the collapsing buildings like it just happened, or within a reasonable time of after happening, which shows that if this is the case, and this is California, and this is soon to come, we might be going pretty quick as soon as it happens. I don't know for sure, guys, so don't, I'm just giving you what information I have, and you take it to the Lord. Rich woman, this is it. I know that there are several people trapped in there. I know that my boyfriend is trapped in there. I looked over at the apartment complex and could tell that it had contained luxury units. The building had 4 stories with 4 units per floor, 16 units altogether. The entire face of the building had been sheared off and looked unstable. I looked back at the woman and only then noticed that her dust-covered clothes were very high-end. So in other words, this apartment complex and this woman who owns it was very rich, high end. So maybe you're looking at millionaire. Who knows? I looked around the devastation. It was, okay, let me see. I'm losing my spot. Okay. I gasped in horror when I looked to the area in behind the woman's apartment complex. This is behind. Massive hills that had each been covered in high-end estates had literally tumbled into the sea. So this must be close to the coast. While the area appeared to be California, I really could not tell exactly where I was. Rich woman, please, lady, can you help this building from folding in? I was surprised by her outlandish request. However, when I looked down, I could see that my outfit was dust-free and pristine. Obviously, she's transformed. It seemed as if those here now knew about us and our assignments, and she had I can't see, I'm sorry, I need to turn the light on, that I was one of them, either glorified or transformed. I felt uncomfortable that she felt that I personally had this kind of power. Any power we're given during the transformation is only when we need it. Okay, God will give it to us as needed. Listen, only God can keep this building from folding in, not me. I can do nothing apart from him. Amen to that. Rich woman, then hurry up and tell him to do this for you. Her tone was so harsh and rude that it completely took me by surprise. I somehow felt that she was one of those that hated us, the ones assigned by God. I then heard the Lord speaking to me. Now, when this happens and we are transformed, the Lord, you will be able to hear his voice just like you do mine right now. Voice of Jesus, you are only to go to the 3rd floor and save the family that is there. See, he'll pick and choose who will be saved because he knows who will be his and who won't, who has hardened their hearts, who has taken the mark, whatever. I cautiously approached the devastated building, but could not see any people at all. I started to pray as I reached the building and was suddenly able to see movement with something similar to infrared vision. So it looks like God gave her supernatural vision to see where these people are. Forgive me for stumbling, it's really hard to read. This was odd, and we were still in broad daylight. I then saw 2 adults. This must have been awfully dusty. I then saw 2 adults with their 2 older teens holding each other in the rubble on the 3rd floor. I was later told by the Lord that the adult man's name is Jason and the adult woman's name is Susan. All 4 of them were shaking and crying. I called up to them. Hello, can you hear me? Jason came to the edge of the blown out wall and looked down at me. I waved up to him. He was dust covered and understandably looked shaken and distraught. This is what will be coming. Now, this is what God is showing her as far as this is one of her jobs when she's transformed. I have kept, gosh, I can't see. Hold on. I have been sent to help you. Jason, okay, but there is no way up or down. We are stuck up here. In a quiet voice, well, Father, now would be a great time for a ladder. As soon as I finished saying this, a metal fire escape ladder supernaturally appeared. I suppressed a smile as I did not want to appear uncaring to those around me. So bear with me. We got a little bit more to go and then we'll be done. Me, again in a quiet voice, thanks, Lord. That was fast. Even though I was small, I knew that I had great strength and would be able to help all four of them down the ladder. Now, that's another thing the Lord said we would have is the strength of many men. We would be able, I know this sounds really strange, guys, because it's like, come on, but could the Lord do it? Then we can do it. Once we're transformed, we won't be in the state we are now. I won't be old anymore or anything else or disabled, none of it. So what God can do, we'll be able to do as he gives us the ability when it's needed. There'll even be times that the glory of the Lord will shine from you, but only when it's needed. Even though I was small. Okay, where am I at? They were visibly shaken. Once they were down, Susan then addressed me, but the two teens kept looking at me like I was some sort of alien. Susan, oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know how you made that ladder appear, but thank you. Me, it was God, and it is God who is rescuing you now. It soon became obvious that she misunderstood what I had meant by this. Susan, I didn't know that God was a woman. Oh, wow. So in other words, she thought that Erin was God. Where am I? All right, let's pull it up. This time I couldn't help but laugh. No, I am not God. I am just one of his workers. I have been sent by him to be here for you. I am in his service, and this is for his glory alone. Just know that Jesus knows you and is sending more help. He is here with you right now. Now, as far as being transformed like this, isn't that just like our Father? Just like his character, to reach out during the worst times in the end of times, when everything's going to be horrific, to have children of his that are transformed to help others, so that all that can possibly still be saved will be. Okay? Where am I at again? Okay, I then turned towards the woman that I had followed, and she looked angry with me. Now, this is the rich woman. In fact, she was now extremely irritated with me. I wanted to lose my patience with her, but I felt the Lord tell me not to react. I didn't. And this is one thing he wants us right now. Do not engage, guys, with anybody. Don't get into a fight and a debate over things. That's just what Satan wants, and then you're fanning the flame, you know? So me, what is wrong? Rich woman, why would you take so much time to save them when they are nobodies? Do you not know who is still trapped in there? Me, I don't. Who are you talking about? Rich woman, person's name is in there. Save him. You need to save him and stop wasting your time with these other people. She had named someone famous. However, before I could make note of this man's name, the Lord completely erased his name from my memory. Me, in my thoughts, Lord, was I supposed to forget this man's name? Jesus, also in my thoughts, yes, Erin, it is irrelevant now as he is already gone. Now this woman is really only concerned about the contents of this man's safe, not him. She needs what is in his safe and is trying to trick you into helping her get to it. Now, what the Lord showed Erin is that when we are transformed, we will be able to read people's thoughts. We'll be able to know what they're thinking. Though their wickedness, their plans will all be revealed to us. The Lord also said that they will not be able to help but confess to us. Now, we're nothing. So please hear me. We're nothing, but Jesus is going to use us, and he will allow these things to happen for his glory. So she continues, I addressed the woman. The man you speak of has already died. However, you really only care about his safe and need to get the items from inside. Am I correct? The woman instantly turned as white as a ghost. She was visibly shaken by what I had just said, so much so that she was unable to reply. In other words, she's been caught. I have not been called to help you with your selfish ambitions. Can you not see that those that can still live need to be saved instead? Well, that snapped her out of it. Smiles, she was furious and started swearing at me at the top of her lungs, as almost all of what she said was curses and choice descriptions of me. I simply am going to leave this out. She then turned away from me and climbed up the ladder. Just as she was about to reach the top level, the upper two floors folded over and the lower two floors with a mighty rumble. While I heard the woman scream in terror, this was quickly followed by silence and dust. She had now been consumed by the building. Just what the Lord would do is allow the building to come on her in her selfish greed. As I walked over to the crumbled building, I could not believe my eyes. Sitting on the top of the flattened rubble was the man's safe. This is all because God's hands are in it. Like he told you today, he's in full control of everything that's happening. And his hand is upon this. He allowed that to happen and bring the safe to the top because he had plans. Now, here's the plans that he did with it. I felt the Lord download the combination to the safe as I climbed over to it. I reached for the tumbler and used the combination. The door to the safe swung open. I looked inside the safe and could see several high-end jewelry pieces, several large stacks of $100 bills, and a pile of tiles to various properties. I don't know if that's supposed to be titles. I'm sorry, it's really dark. Next to the stack of titles, was a large clear bag containing a variety of labeled keys. The labels showed that the keys were for an assortment of vehicles and properties. So this man was extremely rich. As there was too much for me to take it all at once, it took several trips to hand these items to each of the four of them. So this is what they're doing is she's giving it to the family. All these items go to the family. I could tell that they were still in complete shock about what had just happened. I then started to give them instructions that God had downloaded to me. So everything will be given to us as we need it. Jesus wants you to have all of these things, these items, including the keys and the deeds to this man's vehicles and properties. He wants you to, Jason blubbering, but, what if people think we stole all of this? What if people think that we had acted as looters? Please note that I removed their names. Now listen to this. Note that she removed their last names and the names of the town in Montana in what follows in order to protect the family's privacy. I then felt confirmation from the Lord that I was supposed to keep this to myself because they really exist. Is your name Jason R? Yes. I looked over at his wife. Is your name Susan R? Yes. We are the whatever that name is. Look down at the deed at the very top. There is a deed to the property near small town, she's not going to name the thing, Montana. Now, what names are on the deeds to this property? Jason, how could this even be possible? Our names are on the deed. Well, of course, nothing's impossible with God. Me smiling. Your names are on all the deeds and titles that you are holding. It seems as if this man had been holding these titles in your names and on your behalf without you even knowing about it, even though we know God changed it. Susan, stammering, but how could this be? Thank you. Who are you? It doesn't matter who I am. Please don't thank me. Only thank Jesus. I am nothing without him. I am just his worker, and this is all for his glory alone. Look at the humbleness. This is what God wants from us, to be humble. It's nothing we've done. Even when we are in a glorified state and doing things that are miraculous and supernatural, it is still nothing we've done to deserve it, and it's nothing that we're doing. It's Jesus doing through us. Now, all of this is yours, including the money, the titles, and all the other items. As it is his will to do so, God is now going to deliver you to your property in Montana. Listen, this is so beautiful. With his supernatural power. You will be assisted by angels. God will continue to provide for you during the times of trouble. His angels will protect you no matter how much the evil increases. Do you understand? Now, listen to what she's saying to them. There's angels going to protect them and guide them. God gave them property and put them there, and they're going to be safe through these times of troubles. There's many Christians that God will be doing this for. And I mean, like, I don't know if these guys were already saved, but just weren't ready. I don't know what's going on in that way. But God has chosen to take this family, save them, set them up, and take care of them. Let's see. Jason, no, I mean, yes, I think so. Yes, while I really don't know how all this will happen, we will praise Jesus continuously from here on. So look at he realizes that God has done this for him. Me smiling, good, now are you all ready? All four of them nodded their heads in overwhelming agreement. I then saw a door supernaturally appear behind them and pointed. They turned around and started to shake their heads in disbelief. The door swung open. While all around the door was complete devastation, we saw nothing but beautiful Montana landscape through the door. We could also see an incredibly beautiful custom home tucked away in the wilderness. While they were all excited, they were even more shocked than before. After they each took turns hugging me, I then motioned for them to walk through the open door. They held each other's hands and walked through the door. Once in Montana, they turned around and waved. I could tell that they were still in disbelief. I'm going to just end it there. But do you see what God is doing? And there's a chance that something is coming within the next couple of weeks. Maybe a week longer, I don't know. I do know what God showed me. The year. He said this will be a year. It's the beginning, of course, not like the only thing, and after that it's nothing. But he said this year will be a year like you've never seen before, and it already has. We're having weather conditions that are beyond the normal, record-breaking, things like this. Areas that normally would never have tornadoes or earthquakes now are. You see what I'm saying? This is the beginning. And that's also what he said a few weeks ago when he had a word he had me say. And I just speak as he speaks. When I'm live and he shows up, I just say whatever I'm hearing. And sometimes I say things I don't even realize what I just said until I say it. And it's like, oh my gosh, what did I just say? He said, it has begun. Excuse me. So this is it. If we start with this earthquake in California, this is just the beginning. And something about Yellowstone as well. Okay? This is all going to start happening, whether it's right now or next year or what, but we are that close. Okay? And I want to tell you, I had felt this morning this urgency from the Lord to go to my husband and give him some information that I've been holding on to that the Lord showed me. The Lord showed me some things. And I just sat on it until he told me to move. And this morning he told me to move and go talk to my husband about what I was shown. And so what I'm feeling in my spirit is whether this earthquake happens now or not, it might be a 10.0. It could be earthquake upon earthquake. From what I understood, it's not going to be all of California, but there will be a lot of loss of life, just like with this Dorian. There's thousands of people missing. This is really devastating. And the Lord warned me just before it happened. Well, hi. Hi, Danielle. So I just want you to take this to God. But I want you to be encouraged. But the main reason I'm showing you this is not just to encourage you about what the transformation would be like. He was showing her. And like she said, she couldn't even give the last names because these people really exist. But the main purpose for it is to tell you to get yourselves right with God. Make sure anything and everything is under the blood. Make sure you're giving him your very best. Get to praying, fasting, worshiping. Really take this seriously. And I just need to warn you so that I know I've given it my very best to reach as many as possible, to encourage the bride, to encourage Christians to be stronger. Don't engage. Don't go after your fellow Christians. You're attacking the anointed, and you're taking a risk in doing it that way. And also not to engage. Make sure you give God your very best. Don't beat yourself up, because we're never going to be perfect. But if you're giving him your very best, he'll do the rest. Lay everything down on the altar, guys. He really loves you, okay? I hope this was encouraging at the same time, waking up some people, okay? Try to get some sleep. I'm going to try. It's already almost 2 in the morning. But if I know tomorrow I'll probably be pretty knocked out of it for most of the morning. So I wanted to try to get on and go ahead since the Lord gave me. He's so beautiful. I said, if you want this done, if you want me to read that dream, you've got to help me find it. I've been trying to find it for off and on for a while. And boom, there it is. Amazing. So I love you guys. God bless. Get some sleep. Bye-bye.